Hey guys, and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be touching on a couple of ways that you can become more eco-friendly and ways that I want to become more eco-friendly in my practice. Of course, the topic of eco-friendliness, being more sustainable, is actually very in vogue at the moment. So I'm sure you've heard of most of these tips, if not all of them. But these are the top 10 ways that I personally am trying to be more eco-friendly, more environmentally friendly, more sustainable, you name it. This is what I'm doing. So if you're interested, of course, keep on watching, but before you do, don't forget like, subscribe, comment, all those YouTubey things. I'm really enjoying making these videos. Quick disclaimer, I feel like I always have a disclaimer, but anyway, if you do all of these things, that's fantastic. If you do none of them, that's fine. Individually, we are able to make a big difference, but it doesn't mean that you're a bad person if you don't do anything environmentally friendly, eco-friendly, or sustainable. There are ways that we can all incorporate it into our lifestyles. I think it's dangerous sometimes when we tend to idolize perfect people who eat really cleanly, who are very eco-friendly, who are very sustainable. Minimalism, zero waste, sustainability, they're all big buzzwords at the moment that are really in vogue. But I don't want people to feel bad if they're not part of that community. You don't have to be. Just changing one or two things in your life is more than enough to begin with. And if that's all you've got the capacity to do, that's fantastic. So please don't take what I'm about to say as going, oh, I do this, so you should do this. I'm just giving suggestions. I'm a normal person too, so I get it. It's not easy. But this is just the ways that I do it. So disclaimer aside, let's jump into it. Now, of course, recycling isn't new. We've known about recycling forever. Well, essentially. But what do I mean by recycling? Essentially, if you've got paper, cardboard, some plastics, and tins/cans, you can be recycling them. So it's really important to recycle these properly. Interestingly, most cans, yogurt tubs, those sorts of things will actually have labels on them about what can and can't be recycled and where. I'm sure we all know by now that paper can be recycled, but did you know that even plastics like what your spinach may come in or your frozen veggies comes in can be recycled as well? Personally, I've been trying to take these bags, obviously cleaned them out, back to my local Coles because there are bins there where you can recycle your soft plastics. So that's tip number one. Tip number two takes us back to the grocery store, and it's about using reusable bags. Now, so here in Australia, since about June 2019, so about 2 years ago, we have to bring our own bags to the supermarket, or else we have to buy bags whilst we're there. The variety of bags is pretty much endless now. You can get your paper bags, your plastic bags, your fabric bags, your canvas bags, your frozen bags, all of that. What I am actually talking about is the bags that I use for my fresh produce. Basically, I've got these mesh bags that I put my loose fruits and veggies in. Unfortunately, there is quite a fair bit of plastic packaging around a lot of fruits and vegetables, and whilst I do my best to buy the loose stuff and not contribute, I guess, to buying that plastic, I can't help it sometimes, and I know I'm not perfect, and it's an imperfect system. But yeah, did you know you can actually buy these really cool bags that are rewashable, reusable, and they carry all of your loose item stuff? But if you're only buying one or two or something, do you actually need a bag? So that's something else that I try and ask myself. And again, by no means am I perfect at all, but something to consider, and that's tip number two. Tip number three is about composting. Now, what I mean when I say composting is taking your fresh fruits, vegetables, all of those scraps, and reusing them in the garden. Now, the garden is tip 4, that's a little bit of a spoiler. So what I do is I've got these 2 containers that I put all of my scraps in, and that's anything from my fruits and veg, eggshells as well. I very rarely, if ever, throw meat in there, but to be fair, we very rarely, if ever, have meat scraps. And I follow the instructions, and then I use any juices from it to actually fertilize my garden. Following that, I then, once it's all decomposed properly, and again following the instructions on the composting bin that I have, composting, whatever, I then bury the refuge, and that actually acts as another fertilizer type thing for my garden. So of course, I've mentioned my garden a few times. Back in 2020, in about April, I started a little veggie patch. I currently grow cucumbers, tomato, chives, spring onion. I was growing carrots, they haven't done so well recently. I've previously grown strawberries. I've got an assortment of different herbs such as mint, basil, thyme, rosemary. So it's a varied garden. I'm really excited to try and expand this garden in the future. Sadly at the moment, given the heat and the storms we've been having, my cucumbers have stopped flowering as much. And I did have to chop all of my tomatoes, which means I had to basically cut them down to nothing. But they are coming back, so I'm really excited. But yeah, that's tip number 3 and 4. 3 being compost where you can, and tip number 4 being if you can grow your own food, why not? It's really fun. Alright, now tip number 5, halfway there, is now moving away from food and talking more about clothing. So fun fact about me, I very rarely, if ever, buy first hand. So I love op shopping, absolutely love it. I have no qualms with secondhand things. I mean, it's clean, right? And there is a quality that the clothes that are donated to places like St. Vincent de Paul's or Vinnie's, Lifeline, the Red Cross have to adhere to. So I know that it's good quality stuff. It may be worn and, I mean, dirt, secondhand. It may not be in pristine condition, colour, etc. But I don't actually mind. So what I could be doing better here is could be buying from, when I do buy first hand, really reputable places where I know where the stuff is made, where I know there's no child labour or other labour involved. However, I'm still trying to educate myself about that. So for the time being, I buy a lot of stuff secondhand. If I ever do buy first-hand stuff, it's usually on sale. But that's less of an eco-friendly thing and more of a I'm really frugal thing. If you're interested in that video, I mean, just comment, it's fine. Tip number 6 is around my house, and that's the lighting. Now, fun fact, actually, are they actually fun facts? Anyway, I film in natural lighting most of the time, hence why it's not always the best. So right now I've got no lights on in my room, and I'm lucky enough to be filming in a room where there's a couple of big mirrors in here, so the light is amplified, but that is actually all beside the point. What I'm trying to say is, when I buy lights for my house, I try and get LED or halogen lighting, which has a lower energy consumption to it. Depending on your preference, you can buy them in both cool and warm lighting. I personally am a cool lighted person, but I don't think it matters when it comes to the whole sustainability and eco-friendliness part of things. Now, a way I could improve in the future is if and when we decide to build or move house, or if we do decide that this is our forever house, looking at solar is very important to me. So solar for energy and also solar for heating. But that's something I can improve and hope to do so in the future. So tip number 7 is I don't actually own a clothes dryer. It's so tempting to have one, especially because I do live in far north Queensland where it is rainy most of the time or very humid. But it was a conscious decision my partner and I made. I wanted it to be more eco-friendly. He wanted it to save on the electricity bill. Hey, it worked out for us. So we air dry all of our clothes. We hang things out on the line, obviously when there's sun out, or we do washing during the day, but I do have air dryers in the house as well, little clothes horses. They're really, really convenient and really good when you don't have a lot of space. Tip number 8 is I eat mostly a vegetarian diet. I say mostly because I don't call myself vegetarian. I only typically eat meat at nighttime for our evening meal, and sometimes we will have vegetarian meals as well. This is more of a I just don't like cooking meat and don't like eating meat type thing, but there is actually a really good eco benefit to eating mostly vegetarian. Ways you can implement this in your own life without going full-blown vegetarian is even looking at doing something like a meatless Monday, where you just don't have meat. Tip number 9 is I don't actually use makeup remover wipes anymore. I use something called a face halo. Interestingly enough, the face halo is actually an invention of a local girl, Chloe Morello. And when I say local, she's Australian. She does live in the US at the moment, but she was one of the first YouTubers I absolutely loved to watch. And I still love watching her too. She's pregnant and I'm so happy for her. That aside, the face halo basically, I guess, replaces your need for makeup wipes. You just use a bit of water. It's essentially a microfiber cloth of sorts, but I'm not a salesperson, definitely not sponsored. If you want more info about the face halo, by all means, go check out Chloe's channel, go check out face halo themselves. Don't get your info from me. But yeah, I basically no longer use makeup remover face wipes. I do still have things like cotton buds and cotton pads around my house for other things like nail polish remover and whatnot, but I am really reducing my wastage this way. Tip number 10 and the final tip is in the same vein, and it's that I use microfiber cloths when I'm cleaning. So So I don't use any of those chemically soaked cloths around my house when I do my weekly clean. I still always have a pack at home because there's just some times where you just need to use one of those cloths. Like, again, I'm not perfect and I never want to be. I want to be flexible. But I use a microfiber cloth in pretty much every aspect of my life. So I do use more eco-friendly cleaning products. I'm still trying to figure out which ones I like, which ones I don't. But I just spray the cloth a couple of times, wipe down my surfaces. It's great for dust, it's great for cleaning, and they're washable, so reusable, essentially infinite. And you can buy big packs of them from places like Bunnings, even Reject Shop, Target, Kmart, Big W, Coles, you name it. They're everywhere and they're really useful. So those were 10 ways that I personally try and be more eco-friendly, sustainable, that sort of thing. I'm sure none of them are actually new to you. What I want to do now is just tell you a little bit about ways that you could maybe give back and donate things that you didn't think about donating before. So I dare say most of you know about donating blood. At the moment, Australia-wide, there's a big push for plasma donation as well. There's a couple of reasons why you can't donate blood, but if you are eligible, it's really, really worth it. You can save up to 10 lives if you donate plasma and up to 3 if you donate blood. Again, not sponsored or anything. If you want the stats, please do visit the Red Cross's website or your local Red Cross. But it is something I love doing and I love giving back that way. The second thing ties into the whole I buy secondhand, and that's donate your stuff. What you no longer use may actually be very useful for someone else. So do consider donating to your local Red Cross, St. Vincent's de Paul, Lifeline. You could be helping so many people with the stuff that you no longer use. Number 3 is, did you know you can actually donate your hair? So I have now 3 times gone from my hair being around my waist to my shoulders. I know it's in a bun today, but in my last few videos you may have noticed my hair is a lot shorter. I donated about 30 centimeters, I think it was 36, to Sustainable Salons, which is an Australia-wide, which is a place in Australia where you can donate your hair, even if it has been dyed, manipulated, or is otherwise not virgin hair, to make wigs. And these wigs can be used for kids and adults going through chemotherapy, with alopecia, with other reasons that they want to wear wigs made from human hair. So if you're thinking about having a big chop, consider donating your hair. Now the last 2 things, I think everyone knows. You can donate your time, and so volunteering at, I guess the cliches like the soup kitchen or your local Vinnie's or something like that, or a school or a hospital, and you can also donate your money. Now, I don't personally have any recommendations because where you donate your money is really personable to you. So if you do have spare finances, do consider donating your money. But of course, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. If you have the ability to donate anything, clothes, time, hair, blood, please consider it. And before we go, just a couple more words on eco-friendliness and what I hope to do in the future. One day I hope to drive an eco-friendly car. Currently have a Mazda 3 and it's fantastic, but it is not the most environmentally friendly car. It's not the worst, mind you, but it's not the best. So one day when this one has run its last grocery trip, I hope to upgrade to an eco-friendly car. I hope to continue to grow my own food where possible. And I'm hoping to, now that I've passed exams and I have a bit more of a lifestyle flexibility, go to places like my farmers markets and bulk food stores and cut down on the packaging more than anything. And there you go, guys. I feel like I rambled a lot because I feel like I kind of covered a couple of things, the whole eco-friendliness, sustainability, reducing waste. I've even talked about donations and things like that. If you want me to expand on anything, by all means let me know. If you are interested in hearing about how frugal I can be and where I get bargains and stuff like that, let me know because it does tie in a little bit. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you later. Bye.